So, friends, welcome back to Heartscapes, where we're practicing the system of Reiki to be rooted, to be spacious, to be connected, and to remember ourselves. My name is Michaela. Welcome back, and welcome to day 7 of our 21-day journey with the practices of Sanmitsu, the mystic practices of the body, the breath, and the mind. This is a series that takes us through practices coming from the foundations of the system of Reiki so that we can better understand how the system came to be, what the essential elements are, why they're there, how they fit together, and most importantly, how do they inform and benefit our lives today, our daily experience in this time and place. And so we've been working through examples of practices that lead with these three aspects of how we experience the world through our bodies, through our breath or our voice, and through our mind. One point that I wanted to make as we do a second day working with the hands-on healing aspects of the system of Reiki is that this worldview, this perspective, that we are benefited when we bring together, we unify in our actions the experiences of our body, of our voice or of our energy, our breath, those three are often combined, and of our mind, that there are great benefits to our daily life. Spiritually, in the spiritual tradition we're working inside of, that is how we lead ourselves towards enlightenment. But also practically, what impact does it make on our day-to-day experience, our relationships, the decisions that we make, how we move through our lives when we feel the full capacity of ourselves, all the parts of ourself working really well together, when we're able to focus our mind on what we are doing in the present moment, how we're connecting with people in the present moment, and really bringing our full capacity to that. And so in these practices, we're working with practices that not only come through the system of Reiki and through the Buddhist and Shinto underpinnings of the system of Reiki, but practices that come in from other traditions. For example, we worked with some Tai Chi movements. We also worked with practices from martial arts movements. And we see this concept also showing up in other places. There's obvious places, such as inside of yoga practice, inside of dance practice, inside of martial arts practices, where it's essential that we focus our attention on what we're doing, the movement of our body, and that we align our breath with that movement to optimize the movements. But I want to invite us to think about what impact does this perspective have on other activities in our life? Cooking, for example, or making art, or reading a book, or singing a song, or having a conversation. These aren't essential practices inside of the system of Reiki. They're things that we do all day, every day as part of our normal life. And oftentimes we're not really paying attention to whether or not our breath, our body, and our mind are well aligned, are resting together with each other as we're going through these activities. But my question is, what impact would it have on our life if we did apply the principles of Sanmitsu to these daily activities? And I've applied this experiment to myself in my own life when doing simple activities like gardening, like cooking, like art making, like sitting quietly and contemplating my thoughts about the day, and consciously in that moment, settling into a breathing rhythm that uses the full range of my breath, that's aligned gently with my movements, resting my focus truly on what I am doing rather than allowing my mind to wander. And then I observe, what is the impact of doing that on my experience of the activity and on how the rest of my day goes from that moment. And in doing that sort of experiment a number of times, I can say that it has a profound impact. Just that simple action, that simple choice to align these parts of ourselves in what we're doing has made me feel much more grounded, more present, more effective, more creative, more inspired, more diligent, and able to stick with a task longer than I might otherwise. Something that might become boring or become tiresome, I'm able to stay focused with it longer. And so I would suggest to you that applying the principle of Sanmitsu in your daily life, not just when we're explicitly inside of a practice that we might align with our spiritual practice or our meditative practice or our system of Reiki practice, but in everyday life. So that is my invitation to you. I'd love to see if a few of you would take up that experiment and report back. Let me know how it goes. All right, so we're going to move into our practice for today. And as we were yesterday, we're working with the practice that is specifically within the system of Reiki. The system of Reiki has 5 elements to it: the precepts that underline the system of Reiki, the breathing meditations that are essential in the system of Reiki, symbols and mantras that we use to contemplate and to chant with the voice, our hands-on healing practice of Tenohira, and the practice of Reiju, or spiritual blessing. And of those 5, one of them is very explicitly leading with the body. And so for our last day in this 21-day practice, that we are focusing on the body as the point of leading us in the practice, we're going to continue working with Tenohira. I talked a little bit in yesterday's video about some of the context of Tenohira and why it is not something that requires you to be attuned to Reiki. It is something that you can practice right along with us, whether or not you have any Reiki experience. If you want to know a little bit more about that, you can check out yesterday's video. And so we're going to just apply a very simple methodology for doing Tenohira. The word Tenohira in Japanese means palm healing. So that is the name of the hands-on healing aspect of Reiki, which is what most people often think about when they think about the system of Reiki, that it's a hands-on healing practice. There are many other parts of the system, but this is the one that leads with the body, and so the one that we're working with today. So we're going to use just a really simple methodology for doing this practice. There are many different methods for doing it. We teach quite a bit of them in our classes. We're going to just use a very simple process for today. All right, that is plenty of talking, plenty of context. Let's go ahead and get into practice. And so as always, we're going to begin by settling into a posture for practice, making sure that our body feels well supported by the structures below us, that the frame of our body is able to be upright easily, not efforting. We don't want to be straining our muscles to stay upright, but just allowing ourselves to be as straight and upright as we can be easily. And if that requires additional support, like pillows behind you or below you, you can make that adjustment. And when we're well supported on a firm foundation with our body resting easily and upright, then we can invite the muscles of our belly, of the front of our body, and of our back muscles to be soft. So with a couple of exhales, I just invite you to intentionally release any tension you might be holding, as much of it as willing to leave your body in this moment. Allowing the breath to invite softness in the belly, in the chest, in your shoulders, in your jaw. And as you do, noticing the way in which this allows your belly to expand with your inhale. And as we bring the breath into this posture for practice, inviting the belly to be soft so that your breath can move in and down, all the way down into your low belly. And we bring our mind into this practice by resting our attention on the sensation of our breath following the movement of the breath in and down, resting in the low belly, just below our belly button and deep into the center of our body. And as we settle in here with these three aspects of ourselves, these three mysteries aligned with each other, we're ready to begin practice. So I invite you to bring your hands to your heart and gasso, this gesture of beginning, this gesture of unification, and an opportunity to set our intention to be in practice together. And then keeping the hands here for the moment, resting together at the heart. We're going to do a few rounds of breath where we're drawing our attention back and forth between the belly and the hands. We've worked with this pattern the last couple of days. And so on your inhale, following the breath in and down into your belly, the grounded, rooted place, spark of life shining at our belly, connected to the deep, dark, fertile earth below. Just take a couple of breaths to sense or imagine in your low belly this spark of light. And then on your next round of breath, breathing in and down, resting in the belly, finding this spark of light in your low belly. As you breathe out, imagine that spark of light moving up the center of your body, moving down your shoulders and into your hands. And then on your next inhale, that spark of light dividing again, moving back down each hand, each arm to the shoulders, joining again at the top of your back and moving down the center of your body into your belly. So in this way, using the breath to imagine, to trace a pathway between your belly and your hands. And if visualizing the movement of a spark of light is challenging or is not effective for you, you can simply shift your attention back and forth from your belly to your hands and back. Let's just do 3 breaths this way. And now on your next round of breath, I invite you to turn your hands and rest them on your chest in your heart space. And again, continuing this pattern of breath as you breathe in, focusing your attention in your belly. And as you breathe out, focusing your attention on your hands touching your chest, that connection between your hands and your body. And we'll do 3 rounds of breath in this way. Now you can stay here if it feels good to do so. Or you can change your hand position to somewhere else on your body that's asking for attention. But just taking a moment if you need to and just noticing if there's a place that you feel called to rest your hands. It might be because you have some aches or pains in that place, or that you just have caught your attention for any reason. Resting your hands there and taking 3 breaths, breathing into the belly, focusing your attention in the low belly. And as you breathe out, shifting your attention to your hands and the connection between your hands and your body. And then once again, you can stay here if you would like to continue working in this place, or you can shift your hands again to a new place. Taking 3 breaths in this way that we've been practicing. And let's do another round. Again, either leaving your hands where they are or finding a new position. 3 breaths. Another benefit of practicing in this way is that we can become better accustomed to listening to our body, to letting our intuition and the sensations of our body communicate with us, guide us to what needs attention. So let's take one last position, again, shifting or staying where you are. And as you breathe, just taking a moment to appreciate this simple act of connection with ourself, facilitated through the body, through physical touch, through the warmth generated by the energy of our body, the reliable solidity of this beautiful vessel that we walk through life within. And then when you feel complete, bringing your hands back into Gasso at the heart. Drawing your attention back to the center point between your hands. Just taking a moment to notice sensations in your body, just how you're feeling in this moment. Feeling grateful for this practice, this time with you all today. Just invite you to bring something to mind that you're grateful for today, and let that be the closing of our practice. Whenever you're ready, coming back to this room, this circle, virtually across time and space. So welcome back. I hope that was a sweet practice for you. It was for me. As you go into your day from here, again, I just really invite you to play with these ideas, this mindset that we've been exploring that we call Sanmitsu, the mystic practices of the body, the breath, and the mind. And what does it mean to bring something mystic and mysterious into our daily life, right? What does it mean to really incorporate something that might seem a little esoteric and difficult to touch? But literally, we can do that through touch. We can do that through mindfully resting our hand on the body as we did in this practice, allowing our breath to be easeful, allowing our body and our breath to collaborate with each other so that the breath can be fully utilized by our body, letting our mind focus on that movement of the breath, and then bringing all of those capacities to whatever it is that we're doing in a given moment. So give that a try. Practice Sanmitsu when you're doing the dishes, when you're taking your dog for a walk, when you're having a conversation, when you're cooking dinner tonight. Let me know the impact of taking that moment to align yourself as you move through your day. And as you do that, as you move from this place, I hope that you're deeply provisioned for whatever it is that your day brings to you. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will be back again tomorrow, where we will begin our second week and begin working with practices that lead with the voice and with the breath. Hope to see you there. Until then, I love you.